paused on my end, or is it just me?
Okay, I see mine is paused at the moment. Let me just put on and off again. Okay, there it is. Looks like there's yours is also running now. Are you going to share screen? Okay.
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, so let me. Okay, you are host. So okay. Hello, Bertie. Nice to see you, Razia. Nice to have you all on here. We're busy just waiting that we can live stream. So it's still 1 or 2 minutes to go. Then I'm going to introduce you the guy of the hour today that we can looking forward to learning from. Okay. And I know there's a few people that did register, so let's just give them time to come and join in. Bertie, welcome to see you here. Razia, can you just let us know what business you are in? And Bertie, I know what business you are in, but if you don't mind just putting in the chat box what business you are from, so that KK can just have an idea who's going to join us on the call today and to learn from all of us. So if you can all do that. For those who are on social media, welcome to today. Welcome for listening wherever you are. If you're watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, what is the other spaces? Facebook groups. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And I'm looking forward to sharing with you the most amazing guy today, Diana. So nice to see you. Leanne, Kayla, you as well. Man, it's amazing. Network marketing company, Organo. I've heard of Organo. Yes. Okay. It is 12 o'clock. I will let people keep on joining. Let's just kick it off because time is money. KK is an entrepreneur. He's a businessman. Now, just to give you all an idea who KK is. Now, KK Diaz is a business and brand strategist, also a digital marketer, and that's why we are here today, as we're going to learn digital marketing. Digital transformation advisor, a 6 times published author investor. He is the originator of the methodology. I just want to say of the A-Game Business Blueprint, a multi-faced approach to helping entrepreneurs to do business. His series of marketing books has helped business people, specifically marketing and other executives, gain a holistic view of marketing and sales, a set of business processes that can and should be clearly defined and therefore easily repeatable within the business. KK Diaz is an accredited facilitator of programs that assist individuals and teams to harness their natural energy for maximum contribution and performance. He is also the youngest certified facilitator of the Deal Maker program, where he teaches business people about the principles of deal making and negotiation as tools increasing profitability in their business deals. KK Diaz also facilitates the mindset change as well as leadership development programs to help companies create a culture of positive, passionate people who can adapt and thrive in times of rapid change and challenge. And this is what the world needs. He's been on ANN7, Sowetan, Power 98.7, Metro FM, Entrepreneur Magazine, Destiny Magazine. His books, especially there's one book, we will share his links of what you need to do, but there's one book that
Sorry, Kobus, I think I've lost you, or is it just me? Is the problem only happening on my end?
No, I think he did go off.
Okay.
I'm quickly going to message him and see what happened on his side.
Thank you.
Hello there. Sorry, bloat shedding. Are you guys still there?
You're still here. We can see you. We can see and hear you now.
Is it okay? I was thrown off because of load shedding, so I don't know how long this is going to keep. So I'm going to give it over.
Wow.
Darren is here as a co-host. So if something has to happen to me and he disappears, at least as you are there as well. Okay. Well done. I'm looking forward to learning from you. And I don't know where you guys lost me, but one thing that I want to say is something that I have in common with KK is Kilimanjaro. We love the mountain. It's a mountain that has shaped both of our lives. and he's one of the guys that gave me advice of how to climb Kilimanjaro and said it will change my life, and it did. So if you do at least one investment today, get his book, The Climb. It is powerful, it's amazing, and it's life-changing. KK, thank you, man. Thank you for your time, and might this be one of many to come. Looking forward to learning from you.
Thank you, Cobus. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. It's one thing to remember myself climbing the mountain, but I don't remember any other climb that was more inspiring than the one that you took on, and really just showed what people are truly capable of. I mean, including with all the challenges that you faced, but you still summited. Congratulations, and respect to you, man. Big ups for that, and for continuing to inspire people and create such wonderful opportunities for people such as myself, and obviously everybody else that's watching today, that's joining us on this webinar. So thank you for that, and I'll just jump straight in if that's fine with you.
Yeah, 100%, and thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Wonderful, thank you. If you don't mind, I'm going to switch my video off for the purpose of the presentation. I hope you can see my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, wonderful. So with that said, everyone, thank you very much for the opportunity, for your time. I know it's very valuable. Cobus really mentioned already who I am, and I'm truly grateful for that. I'm just going to jump straight into letting you know a little bit more about what the business does, so that it creates context for what I'm going to be sharing with you. So the business really focuses on helping businesses to grow. It's called A Game Business. I'm the CEO and founder, and we have a team of about 20 people that we work with. And we have a key focus on what we call rapid growth strategies, right? And once those strategies, innovations, business model innovations have kind of been formulated, we typically need to help the client go to market. And we do that through various ways. One of those ways is through digital marketing. And obviously, whenever there's something new that needs to be done in any business, in almost all cases, the people need to be developed and upskilled in order for them to be able to execute that strategy. And then they typically need to be equipped with the processes, systems, technology. And really, we are an A to Z of consulting, specifically around digital transformation, which encompasses just about everything that I've mentioned and what I'm going to show you. We've had the pleasure and just being blessed with having worked with some of the most amazing companies in the country, and a few overseas, as you can see on the screen. And I'm sharing them with you so that you can get an idea of just the breadth of the different companies we've worked with that have implemented the technologies, the methodologies that that I'm going to share with you today, that my team and I have just had so much fun and joy and fulfillment implementing and working with these companies. So there are really companies across the spectrum in terms of industry and size as well. Sometimes I feel silly asking this question, especially nowadays, which is, who wants to get more clients, and who wants to have clients willingly pay more for services, meaning, to spend more money with you. And along with that is for them to keep coming back to you, meaning from a frequency perspective is, they come back and they come back and they come back. Now, not every business, unfortunately, has the pleasure of being able to do that. And what we've done over the years, we've continued to study those companies that have been able to achieve the success. We've worked with many of them. And so, as Cobus mentioned, all the books, all the methodologies have kind of come through, obviously, us learning from others, but also, doing our own research and looking at how to best help our clients to achieve that. The unfortunate reality, though, that we are all living right now is just how difficult it is to do business nowadays, right? To achieve satisfactory results when it comes to sales, when it comes to revenue, marketing, generating leads, and so on. And the problem is partly, or largely rather, is because of a change in technology, the internet, and lifestyles. And this change, folks, has been happening for decades. It just so happens it was exacerbated by COVID over the last 2 years. I can't believe it's 2 years now that we've been faced with this horrific kind of conditions. But the whole idea of digital transformation and where I learned my trade at Sage in early 2000. I remember I worked for Sage around 2001 up until 2004. So even back then in my trade, I was already assisting companies with digital transformation, i.e. how can companies use digital technology specifically in order to improve the value that they provide to their clients and how they do business in order for them to grow. And so the change has always been happening. As mentioned, it really, really got worse over the last 2 years, and we all know why. And to make matters worse is that other interesting news and stats is that 94% of consumers nowadays, they'll easily disconnect and stop communicating with the company if that company sends them what we call irrelevant and promotions or messages. And 74% of companies, or people rather, are likely to switch brands if they find that if they want to buy something from you that you maybe have been marketing to them, but if it's difficult for them to actually make that process, to complete the process rather of purchasing from you, then they will typically go to your competitor. So meaning customers are have much higher expectations in terms of how simple and easy and quick things need to be for them. And also about 51% of companies of clients rather say they will never do business with a company again after experiencing at least one negative experience. And we've seen it, even in our own personal capacity, we have high standards. We know we've got options out there. It's not just one company that provides a particular service, unless, of course, if it's a great, unique selling proposition that a specific company is selling, which is very rare. I'm sure you'll agree with me on that. And folks, please feel free to send in questions. Taryn and Cobus will help us, facilitate that process of Q&A when we do get to the end of the webinar. But lastly, and more positively, when it comes to these stats, the good thing though is 93% of customers say they are more likely to do repeat business, i.e. they'll keep coming back to a company that provides them with that remarkable service that we all know we want. So it's not all doom and gloom. The thing that we do need to do, though, is to ensure that we raise our standards and make sure that we are at our A game. And along with all of these changes that I mentioned, the buying journey, the buying process for customers has become so complex nowadays. It's not linear. It's not as linear as it used to be anymore. And so we kind of need to be able to adapt ourselves. And it's a continuous journey. We've all seen this happen over the last few years. However, your biggest problem, or the biggest problem of most businesses right now, and individuals, right, and people who, especially those who want to position themselves as thought leaders, is really about what we call obscurity. Obscurity is when people don't necessarily know about you. They don't know who you are. They don't know what you do. And therefore, they don't know how they could benefit from you, right? Which is really the thing that we want to overcome. And I think one of the most, the most relevant quotes that someone prestigious that we've all learned from so much over the years, the late Zig Ziglar, he said that if people like you, they'll listen to you. But if they trust you, then they'll do business with you. And I think that quote is so relevant nowadays because business has lost a lot of trust, and we know why. And we need to be able to build that brand trust for our businesses in order for clients to want to do business with us. And with that said, in order to achieve that trust, we need to walk this walk called the know, like, trust factor, right? So meaning we need to get customers to know who we are. We need to get them to like us and to trust that we are experts and can help them, and that we've helped others in the past. So that's really at a high level what we need to achieve as part of supercharging our digital marketing. Again, these are the basic fundamental principles of marketing and of doing business. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you how you can go about doing that. So one of the ways to do that is, I'm sure some of you have heard of inbound marketing. Now, inbound marketing is really about how your entire company's different departments, including marketing, sales, service, finance, and all of the ops, and all of them work together to attract, engage, as well as to delight customers, right? As a way to grow a business that provides value and builds trust and so on. So it's really about being intentional, about providing value to your customers, even as leads, right? It's not about getting somebody or getting a client to pay and then only do you provide value. value starts from the point that a customer is actually searching for you online, i.e., are you able to provide them with the value that they seek when they are looking for information? I hope that makes sense. And in order to do that on an ongoing basis, you need to continuously provide educational content and really master something called customer success. And customer success is all about ensuring that your customer solves the challenges that they are facing and that they achieve the goals that your product and service enables them to achieve. And I'm sure we can all agree that the more customers you make, successful, the more successful your business will also become. And so what we did over the years is we took this inbound methodology and we re-engineered it, okay? Because those 3 steps from the traditional inbound marketing, we felt it wasn't really enough for us to equip our customers over the years. And so we really built this thing that may look sophisticated or complex, but I'm going to take you through it. We found a way to really simplify inbound marketing, and we've created these steps to make sure that our clients are able to successfully implement inbound marketing and integrate it into the entire digital marketing campaign. And so we called it the 8-step marketing automation method. And it's really about enticing customers, signing them on, so that you can follow up and nurture them, and then at the right time you obviously propose, and ideally by then you should have built that trust that we were speaking about earlier, and then you obviously close and collect the money, deliver the service, and then do a survey to find out if the clients that you are assisting are actually happy, and if they're not, you obviously know what to do about that. So anyway, I'm going to take you through this in detail as we progress. But where I want to start is with the digital marketing strategy as a foundation of what you need. And maybe before I jump, can I just check that you can still hear me, you can still see the screen, and that we're still on the same page? Can I just get a couple of yeses in the chat just to make sure that I haven't lost you at some point? Wonderful. And welcome to everybody else that we didn't get to welcome just before we started. Thanks, folks. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Excellent. All right, let's continue. And as we continue, I'd like you to just remember to reduce distractions, because what I'm going to be telling you is quite detailed and you don't want to miss anything, okay? So you may want to make notes as well, but the big thing that I'm asking you to pay attention, because I promise you, you're going to get a lot of value from what I'm going to be sharing with you. So this hexagon that you're seeing on the screen right now, I'd like you to envision or vision that, see it, visualize it, and see it as your overall marketing strategy. All right. So this is really where you put pen to paper and you come up with the concepts and the definitions of what really your true, clear, and compelling value proposition is, right? So your value proposition is defined as the benefits and advantages that your customers will gain by working with you. Okay, so that's very important. Before you can do anything from a marketing perspective, you need to know what it is that you do, for whom you do it, i.e., who are your customer segments, who are those personas. And personas is really about getting, deep into the definition and the detail of who your customer is at an individual level. It can get very helpful and very strategic in terms of how you then go about applying your marketing online and otherwise, because the likes of Facebook, the likes of LinkedIn, and many of these social media platforms and marketing platforms really help you to super target the person that you want to convert into a customer, right? And it's really helpful when you know who that person is, what their interests are, where do they live, and so forth. All of these different attributes of who they are. And along with that, you then need to know how you are going to go about building relationships with those people, right? Because a construction worker versus a nurse versus a pilot versus all of these different people whom the different businesses that are on this call today will typically sell to are different. And so we need to speak to them in a brand tone and a personality that will connect with them, okay? And so that's really what this hexagon represents. That's the foundation and the platform of your marketing strategy. Next is then what we call your marketing ecosystems or your platforms, right? don't worry again about if it looks sophisticated and complex. I will take you through each one of these elements as we progress, but it's really that core one in the middle that I'm going to spend a lot more time on. So back to the ecosystem. Now, once you've defined what we spoke about, just from a brand, tone, personality, your personas, your value proposition, is then you need to define and design how the business will look, just from a corporate identity perspective. You know, you don't need the most expensive of processes, the most grandest of brands. You need something that's clean, that's clear, you know, that really speaks to what we spoke about just a few seconds ago, which is around your personas. You know, you want to choose the kind of colors that really speak to who your people are. The texture of your designs need to connect with those people. And obviously you then need a website, which is something we call your digital destination. All right, it's like your digital home where everybody gets to come to from wherever you'll be enticing and attracting them from. And then you obviously need the different advertising platforms to promote and compel them to come to the website. You know, that would be your social media platform, search engine optimization, AdWords, and different types of content marketing that you would utilize. So, and I'm going to focus on content marketing quite a bit around this inbound marketing concept. And with that said, around the inbound marketing, that centerpiece, okay, will take all the different funnels from which your different leads come from, social media, search engine optimization, your website, all of those places. And it will really be your centerpiece around how it helps you to manage those contacts, okay? What I see a lot of companies do, which is a massive mistake, is you advertise and you brand and you promote and you do all of these great things, but when people come to your website, and we all know this, they're not necessarily going to buy the first time around. What you don't want to do is to let them go, okay? Which is, again, where step one comes in, and I'll take you through it in terms of what I mean. But the point I wanted to make is you want to make sure that you are able to attract and sign up contacts so that you can manage those contacts later, so that you can communicate with them and really personalize that communication and automate as much as you can, while integrating the rest of your ecosystem into place. I hope that makes sense. So that's really what the centerpiece is, but I'm going to take you through it in step by step. And just lastly, just around the expertise and the skills that you'll need, you don't need to have the greatest of these skills, and nor do you need to necessarily embody them yourself, because you have a team and you have people that you can always outsource to. But if you can start learning this yourself, it will empower you in a way that you cannot believe, okay? You need to be able to productize and package your offerings in a way that is quick, is adaptable, again, based around those personas that we spoke about. You want to learn a little bit of copywriting, because going back to the people you communicate to, your personas, you're the one that knows who they are. And so you want to be able to write the kind of content that will speak to them. You don't necessarily have to be the one that does all the final writing, but learn how to do some copywriting, basic copywriting, so that when you work with teams, you can easily translate your ideas when you want your ideas to be taken to the next level. So copywriting skills help with that. And there are obviously tons and tons of content on the web that can help you with that. The same goes with storytelling. And the same goes with sales and selling. You know, you can market yourself all you like, okay? But if you don't know how to sell, it means you won't know how to close those leads when they come in, which is a critical piece. But I think the beauty of digital technology is that it helps us a lot to get to that point. But learning the fundamentals can never be replaced. And with that said, I'm going to jump straight into step one of our inbound marketing process, which we call the 8-step of marketing automation method. Really the core piece that's going to help you to supercharge your digital marketing. All right. So as mentioned, you know, clients will be anywhere between 65 to 90% of making a buying decision before they actually contact you. Meaning, by the time they come to you, they would have done so much research online. They kind of have an idea of exactly what they want. You know, they've gone online, they've searched, and they've done all of these things, which is why we need to create content that will ensure that we can use online to entice our customers. And this is not just about outright going out to sell stuff, okay? What you want to do is you want to give people that information that goes back to something I mentioned earlier, which is customer success, i.e. when a customer or a lead has a question, do you help them become successful by answering that question, right? So content really helps us with that. It will help your business as well to entice people to come to you while they are doing research and looking for that information that's going to help them to make that buying decision. So what you want to do is to make sure that you position yourself and you position the business such that while they are looking for that information, that they find your information. And that's why search engine optimization is important. That's why continuously just promoting yourself, obviously in the right way on social media is important, right? Telling stories, sharing content, and being helpful to clients out there. That will help you to pull clients to you. And how you really do that, if you want to do well, if you want to do it well, is you use something called a lead magnet. So what's a lead magnet? A lead magnet is typically content that is perceived to be of high value, right? That can help your prospects and leads to solve a particular problem. A lead magnet is something that your prospects would typically be interested in getting from you in the hope that it'll help educate them towards that buying decision that we spoke about earlier. Now, this content is typically free in inverted commas, but your prospects would typically give you their contact details in exchange for it. And your contact details is typically a name or an email address. And obviously, in some cases, you may ask for a phone number, but that speaks to how valuable your lead magnet is. And with that said, so I'm sure you've seen this. Lead magnets include webinars like the one we're on today. It's really about helping people to solve a particular problem, i.e. many businesses want to know how to supercharge their digital marketing so they can obviously get more leads and increase their revenue. So other examples are ebooks, examples of lead magnets, that is, free coaching sessions. One of my favorites, and I think then on the next slide I'm going to share with you is Vespa. Vespa's lead magnet that they use quite a lot, which is the one at the bottom right corner. Well, if you are somebody who's looking to buy a scooter at some point, one of their lead magnets was to teach you how to ride a Vespa. And in some cases, some people have actually had breakfast after they've learned how to ride a bike, how to ride a scooter in the morning on a Saturday morning or something like that. Now, that's such a wonderful lead magnet. The one that you're seeing on the top here, the 7 keys of power dressing, this was one that we also helped Air Fashion, one of our clients based out in Pretoria. So they were looking for a way to actually attract leads. And we sat with them for sessions there, and we helped them to come up with a concept to refine their value proposition and take that value proposition and then create lead magnets out of it, and obviously create a functional and delightful buyer journey, which we were very happy with, when the whole thing was done. Some of you may have obviously seen Netflix. I also fell for the Netflix lead magnet, and I think at the time it was like a 3 months. A 3 months a free trial. Is this making sense, folks? Is this lead magnet concept making sense? If you can just say yes in the chat box, that would be really awesome, just to make sure that I'm making sense. Folks, I hope you can still hear me. All right, I'm gonna assume that you are on the same page with me. And as we progress, those are just examples of lead magnets. Wonderful, thanks, Leanne. Thanks, Kirsty. All right, so that's step number 1, right? So enticing. It's really about what do you have of value that you can give to leads that would be interested and compelled to come to you, right? And there are many different examples. Other examples are vouchers. And I think one of the worst things that I've seen in business comes from retail, unfortunately. I still see it to this day where retailers have leads come into the store, but they have no lead magnet for them, i.e. a client will come in, they look around the store, they're obviously interested, that's why they're there. And then what typically happens is a salesperson will ask the lead if they can help them with anything, and the lead typically says no, they're just looking around, and then they leave. the thing is, it's similar to somebody coming to a website and you don't have their contact details, and you never are able to then follow up with that lead. So one of the things that I'm hoping, for some people in retail, they'll start doing is come up with some lead magnets that will ensure that the people, as they come into your store, that they leave their contact details if they're not already your customer. And even if they are, because you want to continuously add value to your customers, make sure that you give them the lead magnet rather, in exchange for your contact details. That's one of the best ways and easiest ways actually to create a database of contacts, of leads that you can follow up and sell to later on. And you obviously want to be sensitive about that, okay? Because personal details are obviously a sensitive issue. So step number 2 is sign up. So I know it's a very obvious step, but again, as I mentioned earlier, we really wanted to make all of this stuff, very much basic, practical, and easy for just about anybody to understand. So the step is really about how to ensure that when somebody's been in your store, on your website, how do you sign them up, right? Razia says, yes, can we get a copy of slides, please? I can't write fast enough. We will talk about that. I think Cobus did say we are obviously recording, and I'm sure that the recording will be available to everyone. And I do apologize that there's too much information, Razia. I'll also make a plan, okay? I'll also make a plan to send out one of my books in which we unpack this in a little bit more detail. And my team and I are obviously always available for that, Razia. So and to Razia and to everyone else, obviously. So thanks for that. So when it comes to signing up, as I mentioned, it sounds very obvious, but using your preferred advertising or promotional mode that you usually that you would promote your lead magnet, you want to entice the leads to come, right? And as they come, again, whether it's your physical store, a retail store, landing page, or website, you want to use the principle of, hey, Mr. Customer or Miss Customer, here's something we can offer you for free. The way that you can get it from us is if you give us your contact details. Either you send them a link, or you literally, using pen and paper, you take down their contact details and you hand over a lead of some sort. So it doesn't have to be highly sophisticated, but it's really about ensuring that you use these principles so that you don't waste all your marketing that you continue to spend out there, and then leads come in, but then you don't sign them up so you can follow up with them later. So as I mentioned, some of the ways that you can sign people up is using online web forms, landing pages. There are obviously systems that can do this, but you can also do it manually. As I said, you can use your notebook. You can even use your cell phone, in order to create some sort of an Excel spreadsheet and just put people's contact details in there, and then have your steps that you can take your client through as a way that you want to delight them. The only reason you may want to use automation and all of these fancy digital tools is because you want to do more of it, okay? You want to obviously empower yourself so that you can automate all of this process. And people have very high expectations of when they want something from you, that they want to be able to get it at that moment. So automation would really help you with that. And that's something else that I'll speak to you about. So just to give you an idea, in October, I think, we ran a similar webinar. And just to give you an idea, what we did is we literally just put out an ad. And I think we spent something like, was it maybe 500 Rand, if I'm not mistaken, to anywhere between 500 Rand to 1,000 Rand, boosting a Facebook ad. And we were able to get those many impressions, a good number of leads. I mean, so what we did is the screen grab that I took here was before all the people that were registered for that webinar. But as you can see, it was a very big number. It ended up being about 107 people that ended up registering and attending. So what I'm showing you is really something that is basic, i.e. have a lead magnet and promote that ad on Facebook, social media, and obviously via your emails and so on, and it can really get you those results. So that's just an idea. Now, step number three is nurture, i.e. at this point, your lead would have taken the the lead magnets, they've checked it out and they've gotten value out of it. What you then want to do is you want to nurture that relationship, okay? Most small businesses will contact their leads twice, maybe thrice, and then stop trying after some time. And this is why most SMEs actually don't close enough of those sales, because it's said that you need to follow up with leads anywhere from 5 to about 27 times in certain instances, okay? And so this is why technology and being able to automate all of these things will really help you, okay? So you don't want to do all of this hard work, getting all the leads into your store, onto your website, and then you don't do the required nurturing that's going to help you to convert that client over time. Because as we know, not every lead comes in and actually buys the first time around. All right, so that's step number 3. We really want to nurture those leads. You nurture them by following up. You follow up by answering questions, continuing to provide value and engaging content. The reason is because when the client is ready to make a purchasing decision, you want to be top of mind. All right, you want to be able to for the client to think of you when they think, hey, I now need to solve that problem, or I now need to make that purchase. Either Cobus or Kirsty or Razia is the person top of mind, because they always talk to me. They always provide me with that value. I hope that makes sense. Wonderful. So, and with that said, it goes back to the trust we spoke about. When you're top of mind, then it's predominantly because the customers or your leads believe who you are. They believe in who you are. They believe in what you do. And it's partly because of the lead magnets and all the nurturing that you do, and obviously helping them to solve the problems along the way before they make that buying decision, and even once they've made that buying decision. So talking about following up, I want to share with you some very interesting stats. If you look at on the left, that very last one, it says 81% of sales close after the 7th call. Closes after the 7th call, right? But if you look on the corresponding stat, unfortunately, only 10%, right, of the remaining 10% of salespeople will literally follow up at that point. Meaning, about 48%. If you look at the top on your right, 48% of people will quit after the first call, meaning the first contact at the time that the lead will either have come across their website or their shop. Folks, a great majority of sales, i.e. 81% of sales, close after the 7th call. This is why it's important that you need to continuously nurture those leads. Otherwise, you are wasting your hot leads, i.e. if somebody comes into your store, they clearly have an interest. If somebody comes to your website, they're clearly looking for something there. So we need to find a way to grab them from an enticing and give them lead magnets and follow up with them. Another reason is because people are so busy. I mean, we are all so busy, and I can't thank you enough again for embracing us today. And again, we know that your time is valuable, and it's really about us giving you that value. Another important thing about nurturing and why it's important that you need to nurture is because if you don't respond quick enough, all right, clients will be less likely to want to do business with you, right? An example here is if a client wants to speak to you or wants information from you, either on your website or whatever the case may be, and if you do not respond within 5 minutes, they say that the likelihood of them wanting to do business with you will decrease by about 10 times. And folks, these were stats prior to COVID. So you can imagine just how much your customers' patience has even been even more reduced by now. So it's really important that we put in all of these steps in place so that we don't miss out. So in the interest of time, I'm just going to skip some of these slides, which I will find a way of sharing with you. I do have a couple of books, as Cobus said, and most of this information is contained in there as well. But anyway, if you don't nurture, as the point has been made, you end up losing or significantly reducing the number of people that will end up actually buying from you. Nurturing really helps you to increase the number of customers who will want to do business with you. So how do you solve this lack of follow-up? You create valuable content. As mentioned, you automate all of these responses and implement a mechanism, right, that will help you to respond immediately to clients while notifying you and your people about the opportunity and about the inquiries. You've probably seen how some people will typically automate certain emails. This is just an example of what that autoresponder of nurturing really looks like. And you can do it in so many ways. And I know in this country, especially, we tend to be very sensitive about not wanting to send out too many emails to people. And again, it's really about being relevant. Okay. It's really about knowing that you continuously need to provide value. And when you know your people, remember earlier we spoke about personas. When you truly understand who those people are, then you'll know what it is that they need so that you can offer it to them. And again, be top of mind when they're ready to make that buying decision. So some of these applications, these mechanism will help you to understand who it is that you need to be focusing on, what kind of emails you need to be sending them. Are they interacting and engaging with your content so that you can follow up with them, et cetera, right? So these technologies are really helpful in that way. All right, so, and all of this really helps you to cross that know, like, and trust bridge, okay? Let me skip the nurture step. I think it's the point's been made. So once, when you've gotten to the right stage, and you'll know because you know your business, you know your customers, then you need to propose. It's just like in relationships, right? You don't want to start by meeting someone for the first time and asking them to marry you, right? I don't know if people have been successful, but traditionally we know that won't work, right? That does not necessarily work. It's really about getting to know your leads, them getting to know you. You'll typically go out for coffee, and then you'll raise the bar a little bit more. Then you go to supper, and then it goes to other things, right? And then you propose for that big proposal that you obviously want to make to the client. The same thing happens in marketing. You don't want to just show up on social media and just promote and sell the whole time. You want to, again, follow those steps that we spoke about, so that by the time you propose, it is clear that you don't just have your own interest at heart, but also that of the client. So again, depending on the client's pain point that they're experiencing and how they initially contacted you and how they've continued to interact with your content and with your company, you are now in a position to make an offer. And there are various ways in which you can do that, right? One of the ways you can do it, you don't have to do the big proposal at that particular time. You want to again nurture and gently nudge the client into making what we call micro commitments, okay, over time. Some of these micro commitments and that big commitment you may want them to make can be done in a very short space of time, as long as you follow these principles. And obviously, depending on the client's pain point, their sense of urgency, then they might go for the big one. But you may also want to, give them what's called a tripwire. A tripwire is a limited time offer that's going to ensure that the client, makes a small purchase, and then next time maybe they make a slightly bigger purchase, again, as they trust your brand, as you get to nurture them, and you get to continuously offer more value to them. So what is a tripwire? A tripwire is really a product or service that is specifically designed and priced to convert as many leads into clients as possible. Your goal with your tripwire, again, is not necessarily to make the biggest or the most amounts of profits. It's really about that micro commitment that you want to take your client over, right? You want to make those small or micro commitments and not to scare them off with big offers at a particular moment. And again, you can automate it, like we said, through that nurturing process. All right. So step number 5, now that you've nurtured, the next thing to do is obviously to close, right? And this is why it's important to learn those sales techniques, those sales principles, those old age sales principles, the likes of Zig Ziglar used to teach. It's really about knowing that you have to ask for the money. If you don't ask for the money, you are not going to get it. Right? It's as simple as that. Now, one of the things that you want to do at this stage is you want to make sure that you've covered as many of the client's potential objections, right? I.e. the concerns that they may have regarding why they may not be ready to buy from you. So again, as you nurture, as you speak to the client, as you communicate, you want to build all of these little nudges that will help the client to ensure that objectives are in place. Objections are covered. This could be guarantees, like 30, 60-day money-back guarantee. This could be testimonials from other people. This could be a trial. This could be many other things that you can put in place in order to make sure that the client doesn't feel overwhelmed or feel like they're taking a massive risk by buying from you. That's what managing and handling objections is about. You can actually automate all of that using digital marketing and so on. And again, when the prospect does finally make the buying decision, just make sure you have easy payment processing in place, as we said earlier. All right. And so this is really about, again, so much business is now happening online. When clients are ready to make that purchase with you, you want to make sure that they, when they're ready to buy, that the sale is not going to be compromised because either your website is not working, or either, nobody's around to pick up a call when a client is ready to make a purchase, or that an email sits in the inbox for days without actually you being notified that, somebody's ready to make the purchase. So collecting is really about simplifying the entire process so that, you can handle the transaction timelessly when the client is ready to do that with and what typically happens is, going back to the proposed stage, you also want to explain in there that when a client is ready to make a purchase, how they would go about making that purchase. Again, that you make it easy on the mind and the heart of the client when they are ready to make that purchase, so that again they can continue to trust your brand. So some sellers here will typically request a deposit or all the money up front. Or, depending obviously on how you operate, you want the client to know, okay? And remember to create a nice process that will make following up on these payments and confirming payments easy for both you and your clients. For example, you may ask the client to send a proof of payment or whatever the case may be, but you want to have a consistent process so that when a client always comes back to you, that they have a seamless purchasing process, because it will be similar. All right, so delivering. This is where we get to delight our customer even more, right? We want to obviously delight them with all of those steps, but this is really where it counts the most, and where you really need to pull out as many of your stops as possible so that you can make sure that you truly impress and delight your customer. So with the delight step, this is the step that will truly determine if you'll ever get another sale from the same client in the future, okay? We always recommend that you pull out all the stops here in delivering your service to the client. The thing is, the competition is severe out there, and your competitors are also pulling out the stops to ensure that they lure and keep your clients. This means that you need to do the same and differentiate yourself in the minds and the heart of your leads, right? So that they return to do business with you in the future. So I want to give you a little example of how you can actually do that without breaking the bank, right? And you can do this consistently and create that wow experience consistently with the same customers and everybody else that's new that is potentially coming in as a lead. You want to delight and impress them as well. But again, this is exactly where you want to pull out all the stops at the deliver stage. It's surely about, today is one of the best and the easiest ways to wow your clients, because so many companies just don't bother with this process, right? So don't think of it as a massive challenge. Again, I'll show you in the next example how simple it could be. It's particularly true when it comes to small and medium businesses, that many of small businesses do not, go that 1 or 2 extra miles in order to make sure that they impress and delight the customer, so that the customer stays with you, with them over time. So if you put in a little bit of effort to impress your client, chances are very good that the efforts will be rewarded several times over. So one of the best examples that I share with people, and I've done it over the years, and the same thing will apply with you, is if you delight your customers, we will talk about your business to everyone, right? I have spoken to thousands of people about this example, right? So a few years ago, I went to Mount Sheba for a few days holiday, and anyone who's been out there in Mpumalanga will know that it's a very dusty drive all the way up to the mountain. And we're not talking about Kilimanjaro mountain here. We're talking about Mount Sheba in Mpumalanga. And it's a gravel road and dusty. And so when you obviously get up there, your car is all dirty. So, the following day when we got up, we were so pleasantly impressed to find that the car was washed. It was clean, no trace of dust. And the beauty of it is nobody told us anything about it. We just woke up and when we went to the car to pick up some of our things, car was beautifully washed. Now, that costs nothing but a bucket of water and just a few minutes of effort just to wash the car, right? The beauty of it, again, we didn't see anybody wash the car. We were pleasantly surprised when we saw it. It was such a wow moment, right, for me as a client. And you know what? 5 years later, I still tell the story. Now, what am I trying to demonstrate here? You don't need to break the bank in order to wow and delight and impress your client. Now, think about some of the simplest things you can do. You know, some people will typically add an extra item in an order for a client. One of the most successful companies in the world, Zappos, how they used to do this, and they still do it to today. And if you're a customer of Amazon, you would have seen this, because the guys who founded Zappos, obviously, Jeff Bezos bought Zappos, and then they started implementing some of those techniques into Amazon. The example I want to share with you is you'll typically be told that, you know, your delivery will take 2 days, or will take 5 days, or a week, or whatever the case may be, and they'll deliver it in 2 days. Okay, so that's another way to do it, is make a promise where, you know, you how can I put this, right? You make a low promise, but then you go really hard to deliver on it so that you exceed on that expectation that the client has. Okay, that's another beautiful way to actually impress a client, is you make a promise that it'll be there in 5 days, but you deliver in 2 days. I mean, it works amazingly well. And again, it won't cost you anything extra, obviously, unless if your logistics may be complicated or maybe costly if you're able to do that. But that's another example. So this is step 8. Step 8 is survey. Survey is really about finding out if your client is happy. Okay, it's as simple as that. All right. You want to make sure that once a client has visited your store, maybe they made a purchase, they slept over, if it's a hotel or a lodge of some sort, you know, anything that you can think of, i.e., once they've purchased from you, you need to follow up and find out if your client was happy. Because if you don't, the likelihood is the client won't come back. All right. So step 8 in itself has a couple of steps. There's about 4. The first one that I just mentioned now is called a happiness survey, i.e., once you fulfill that promise to the client, make sure that you get feedback from them using a survey, a questionnaire. It doesn't have to be long. You can ask 1, 2, maybe 3 questions. Find out if they were happy or unhappy. And obviously, if they were unhappy, you need to fix whatever it is that they were unhappy about. And one of the good things about doing this is it's also a great opportunity to improve upon your offer, as one customer's feedback will typically reflect on how others will view your products and services and your company. So it's really important to get that feedback. It's a step that is frequently overlooked, but it's also key to a sustainable business, because what is sustainable is when the same clients keep coming back to you. Okay, so if obviously they're not happy, as we said, remember I showed you that stat earlier that I believe it was 54% of clients rather say they will never come back if they're not happy. All right. So more than half of the leads that you convert into paying customers, you want to keep them. All right. You want to make sure that they do come back from next time that they do business with you. Right. So with that said, the next step within the survey step is really about getting testimonials. Okay. So obviously if a client is happy, don't ask an unhappy client to give you a testimonial, because likelihood is you won't get it. So you want to make sure that you find out they're happy. And if they're not happy, you fix whatever it is that they're not happy with, and then get the testimonials, because testimonials is obviously one of the best ways, you know, to get somebody else to sell your business. Rather than you constantly being the only one who sells the business. Because again, clients and leads, they want to know that you've helped others in the past. Okay, that's one of the ways that they gain trust, that you are then able to help them with that specific challenge that they need. That they need solved. So make sure that you ask for testimonials. And again, this is one of those steps that if you are using the technology the digital technology to support your digital marketing, is you can automate these processes so that you don't have to constantly manually have to remember yourself to be able to do this. And then step 8.3, once a client is happy and they've given you a testimonial, obviously depending on the stuff that you sell, you then want to upsell the client, right? Because it's always about finding out what else you can help the client with, what other challenges are they facing, because you know what it's like. Sometimes you solve a particular problem, then 1-2 other new problems come up, and maybe you offer the kind of products that will help a client along the journey. Again, this is something that you can upsell, rather automate upselling. And it's also one of the best ways to obviously grow a business, is to get clients to continuously not just keep coming back, but to buy more and more stuff from us. Okay. You want to automate that process as well. And lastly, referrals. Once you've supported and assisted a client and they're happy and they've given you a testimonial, you can ask them if they know other clients that you would be in a position to help solve the same problem that they've solved. Don't be shy, you know, and there is no big formula behind this. There is no science behind it. It's as simple as you asking them for leads, and again, included in your automated processes, which you can use, which you can then, you know, you can rest assured that you don't have to manually remember yourself all of these complicated things whenever you do this, your digital marketing. You can literally be offline, at least yourself, without having to worry about it, and the systems will take care of all of that. So folks, in a nutshell, those are the 8 steps that you want to implement in order to supercharge your digital marketing, right? These 8 steps will help you to cross that know, like, and trust bridge, and then your leads will be in a position to do business with you. So I hope the session has been helpful. As I mentioned, one of our clients is Air Fashion. The ladies are based out in Pretoria. And I remember a few years ago, after we had assisted them, this was around 2019, late 2019, early 2020. You know, they told us how they using some of these marketing techniques and tactics that we helped them, they were able to secure the Princess of Monaco as one of their clients. Imagine how beautiful that success story was. So this is not to brag, but to say these principles have worked. You know, they've been used for years, folks, and it's become the standard now, right? It's no longer like, do you have a choice for you to implement these systems or not? Unfortunately, you don't, right? Because everyone is doing it these days. Your competitors are doing it. And if you want to compete with them, you need to be able to do the same. And with that said, I hope the session has been helpful. And if you are interested in getting help from us, we do have something called the A-Game Business Digital Marketing Toolkit. It's really a place where you can start, you know, to get all of these things in place, i.e. your CRM systems that can help with all of this automation that we spoke about, and then how you can integrate your reputation management, SEO, social media, advertising, and all of these things. And we know it's very tough for most businesses. So what we've done is we've spoken to so many of our vendor partners from around the world, and some are local, and we've come up with this toolkit in order to help businesses to succeed online. And it will be a pleasure for us to help you to be able to achieve the success, which is to supercharge your digital marketing by helping you put all of these pieces together. Now, quickly, in short, you get pretty much everything that I just covered. You know, your marketing automation software, social media, customer review, reputation management, and really online presence, SEO, and just about all of this stuff. And over and above that, you don't just get the tools, but you get reporting, you get technical support, you get training, and weekly coaching sessions, right? That you'll do with either myself or one of our team members. Every week we will meet with you on the same day. Folks, all of this plus a 30-day money-back guarantee for a ridiculous price of 1,750 Rand. All right. So we've discounted it in the hope that we obviously know Kobus for many, many years, and we would love to extend, you know, his other friends as we all become friends, in the hope that we can all, you know, just continue pushing and become successful in this challenging world of the, as they call it, the new normal. Folks, that's really it from me. I know Taryn has got the link that will give you all of this information that you can view. We are promoting this for until the end of business today, but the standard price is really 2,000 Rand. We just thought a 250 break every month might be of service to you. So with that said, thank you very much. And yeah, I'm really grateful. Thank you. I hope the time that you've spent here with us today was helpful and that it was valuable. I'd love to get some feedback and maybe some questions. Thank you. Cobus?
Yes. I just had to quickly unmic my everyone. We will put this on the social media as well, and we will email it out. I see everyone says it's a great session. I think the best as well, everyone, there is KK Diaz's details on the screen. Also please reach out to him if you just want to, even if you just want to chat with him a little bit more and run through your business, how his tools and toolkit can assist you and helping you getting success. So I think I learned a lot again. KK, I think we should do this again, especially in the new year, January, for people to kick off. So, and then we can maybe go in a little bit more deeper than what you just did, because wow, maybe we should break it a 2 or 3 session, because there's a lot of information, of questions. Sure. Please reach out to KK. His details on there. My phone is lasting a little bit, so I have about 9% left, and my laptop has about 7% left. So I just made it in time.
Thank you.
To be here, but thank you for bringing and sharing your knowledge for the first time. And I would have loved to have more people, but definitely we will punt it a little bit more going forward. I think people are ready for holiday, and if you are ready for holiday, just before you go, reach out to KK, speak to him, talk to him, and see how he can assist you in growing your business. And why am I doing this? Is because it's just, so you can see there's other speakers and trainers and coaches that teach us the same thing. So, it has to work, and it does work, and it will definitely work. So KK, it's awesome, man. And a fellow climber of Kilimanjaro, a fellow fire walker, someone that loves fire walking as well. Thank you for making your time. Is there any last message from you today?
I guess just 2 things. One is, the sooner you start, the sooner you can start reaping the rewards, because it does take time, folks. I'm not here to make massive promises that this is instant success. You start today and tomorrow you start seeing the biggest of results. But what we've done is we are able to do those little nudges, those little jiffies that will help you to get those results quicker. But the sooner you start, the better. And just secondly and lastly, thank you very much to you, Cobus, and to everyone that attended. I'm truly grateful, and I hope this time was time well spent for you. And you do have my details. You do have the link to the toolkit. Check it out. If you have any questions, please do reach out. I'd be more than happy to help. Thank you again. That's it from me. Taryn, I think we've lost Cobus again.
Yes, I think so, but I will close off for him. Thank you very much, KK, for this very informative, amazing session. Thank you to everybody that took time to join us. I really appreciate it. I know KK does too. Please do reach out. Click on the link to get the toolkit. And I hope you all have a beautiful day and a fantastic rest of your week.
Thanks, Taryn, and thanks, everyone. Goodbye.